What's up YouTube, this is Alan Jeremy from Devflix Incorporated, and today I'll be showing you how to create a simple game in one day using Blender. So I am using version 2.65 as you can see, and start off by changing this from Blender Render to Blender Game. Then Shift S, cursor to center, then add a plane and scale it up by 10. Then press tab to go into edit mode, then move the cube up on the Z axis and press Ctrl to snap it to the grid. So now the origin of the cube is at the lower part of the cube. So this means that all transformations that happen to the cube happen based on this origin. The cube rotates based on that origin. Cube can be scaled based on that origin, and so forth. So today we're going to be doing the motion of the character, and to do that, change from default to game logic. And before we continue, change the character's type from static to dynamic. Then add 4 keyboard sensors, and this will be our sensors that will tell what to do, will tell the player what to do when a certain key is pressed. So these are our controls, and the first one is W key for the forward motion, and S key for the backward motion. Then for the right motion, D key, and for the left motion, A key. Add 4 AND controllers and connect this up. Then add 4 motion actuators. This is going to be FWD underscore MOT to mean forward motion. You can name it whatever you want, and BWD underscore MOT to mean backward motion. Then right underscore MOT to mean right motion, and left MOT to mean left motion. So connect this up so that it can work, and this basically means that when you press the W key, the player will actually sense that you've pressed the W key, and it will go ahead and do whatever this motion actuator says, or whatever this motion actuator states that the character should do. For example, if the character should move forward when you press the W key, you specify the motion here in this actuator, and that's how it works. So to make the character move forward, which is in the positive Y direction, we're going to set this as 0.1 in the Y direction, which means positive 0.1. So our character will move positive 0.1 Blender units in the Y direction, which is forward, whenever the W key is pressed. So press B to play right now. Our character moves forward whenever we press the W key. So to set up the backward motion, we are going to write negative 0.1 so that our character moves in the opposite direction when the S key is pressed. You can test that by pressing P to play, and when you press S, the character moves backwards. When you press W, the character moves forward. press escape to close the gameplay. And for our right motion, our character is going to be rotating this way. To rotate this way, now this is the most confusing part to most people. To rotate this way, it means you're using the z-axis, which you cannot see here, but if I do this, you can see the z-axis. It's represented by a blue arrow. So to rotate to the right, it means you're rotating with the z-axis acting as your pivot point. So that means your rotation is on the z-axis. So many people will ask, how do you know which direction is right and which direction is left based on the number of degrees? But you could go to the cube properties here and try rotating so that you can tell if it's positive or negative, or you could just think of it this way. Rotating in the right direction is negative rotation. So if you're rotating on the z-axis in the right direction, then it means that you're rotating in the negative direction using the z-axis as your pivot point. So if you want to rotate to the right, you rotate. It means you're rotating in a negative direction, as you can tell from your geometry classes. And if you want to rotate to the left, it means you're rotating in the positive direction, which is anti-clockwise basically. And that's how you can tell. So for our right motion, it means you're rotating in a negative direction, which is the clockwise direction. So we're going to type in -1 for the rotation, so that every time we press the D key, our character rotates by 1 degree. For the left motion, we're going to do the opposite and type +1, type +1 to mean that our character rotates in the anti-clockwise direction by 1 degree for every single time the A key is pressed. Connect this up to make sure it works. And now when you press the P key to play, our character moves forward when you press W, character moves backwards when you press S, and our character rotates to the left when you press right, moves to the left when you press A, and moves to the right when you press D key. So now we have our basic character movement, and that's going to be the end of part 1. And see you in part 2, where I'll be showing you how to create a coin collection system and a health system, where the health reduces when you come into contact with an enemy and the coin count increases when you collect coins. So goodbye, and this is the end of part 1. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is Alan Jeremy from Deflex Incorporated. Happy blending.